In studio right now, there's a race for a family court judge that is underway right now, and Jessica Reynolds-Amuso is in studio. I should say I was hired by your opponent just the other day to do commercials, so full disclosure.
Fair enough.
So tell us, why should people in just a couple of weeks vote for you?
Sure. Well, I'm an attorney with 20 years of experience, and the last 16 years my practice is focused on all the things that bring people to court. I represent kids, I represent parents, I represent grandparents. It's really important to have that experience working with the families right on that front line, helping them solve problems. There's a lot of stuff going on in our community, and when people come to family court, they need help. And my experience doing that right out there, outside the courtroom, out in the community, in the schools, with service providers, with the families in their homes, I think that perspective is often missing when we're in the courtroom.
How has family court changed over the last 10, 15 years? Because it does seem to have, grandparents are playing a much bigger role today.
Oh, grandparents are playing a huge role. Yeah. It's amazing. We have a lot of families that are in crisis. They often say that family court is the other emergency room for our community. You know, some people, they end up at the emergency room at the hospital, but family court is where you're dealing with the family's got an issue with substance use disorders, mental health issues. Those seem to be getting worse. You know, whether it's the actual disorder, the mental health issue, the substance issue, that breakdown in the family structure, and then also the access to the care that you need in order to pull yourself out of that, and how that's affecting the family. We often have grandparents, even great-grandparents, applying for custody.
Wow.
And that's a really big deal. One of the things that happens when you have these grandparents and great-grandparents applying for custody of children, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, you know, elementary age kids, they're not really equipped. They thought they were out of the parenting game at that point, and they've got to get back into it, and they're in the middle because it's their kid.
Yeah, they have to.
That's having the problem. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of between a rock and a hard place because they want to protect the young child.
Is it oftentimes where the parent, you know, because I can imagine there's a situation where a parent, grandparent, would be more of an enabler, trying to cover up, to protect. And then there are those that might come to you and say, I realize this is my kid, but because you have so there's a male and female in the picture, two different families, oftentimes vying here for custody. What do you see normally?
Well, and usually it's kind of a road that they go down where initially they're trying to take care of it themselves.
Right.
They're trying to support their child who's having this substance issue. They're trying to hold things together. And they finally reach a point and they're like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I need to say no, and I need to protect the child because at this point, my child has made their own choice, and I can't help them anymore. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. I mean, we've seen it so many times. You see the articles, unfortunately, the obituaries about people that are dying from overdoses.
And kids that are oftentimes witnessing it. They're walking into the room or they're calling 911 because mom or dad isn't conscious.
Do you remember we had this story?
With the firefighter that came in?
Yeah. The firefighter and the police officer and John from the gym down the road that, like a young child, probably under the age of 5, wandered into their parking lot. Mommy fell down, and the woman had overdosed. It's horrible.
And this Narcan actually brings them back to life, and the woman popped up and said, "Why are you in my house?" But it's a Band-Aid, unfortunately.
Well, it is a Band-Aid. The family court is supposed to protect the child. The family court is supposed to find what's in the best interest of the child and give them the opportunity to live and grow and have a healthy life. Drugs are a very difficult thing, especially the opiates, because there's just that really strong addictive it's just there. And you can use the Narcan. Some of the drugs that are being used today are so strong that you hear from the police officers, from the firefighters, about people that they have to use the Narcan multiple times to bring them back.
Whatever happened to a good old-fashioned two parents dysfunctional that don't put the kid first? Whatever happened to that? It still exists, I'm assuming.
Complaining about the green bean casserole.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Lord. I think mine was a sippy cup. that's my sippy cup. I bought that sippy cup. Yeah. That's how bad it gets. By the way, those are the parents, not the kids, arguing over the sippy cup. Andrew.
And I know somebody in family court, and this person tells me all the time how complex things have gotten, even to the point where a mother and that person's mother is fighting for visitation. So the grandparents will want to see their grandchild, but even there's an added level of conflict that maybe you'll have to deal with. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We do see those cases. Under the Family Court Act, grandparents do have rights to have visitation with kids, and so they can bring their own petition if they find themselves in a situation where they've been cut off. They can't see the grandkids anymore. And there are a lot of different reasons that happens. Yeah. Sometimes it's just personalities. Sometimes, I don't know, misunderstandings. Sometimes people move out of town. And the grandparent brings in that petition. The parents, push back. You get an attorney for the child appointed for the child and see, what's going on. Does the child feel safe? Is there a safety issue, or is this just a personality issue? Mm-hmm. If it's just personality, let's figure it out and move it forward, because it takes a village. We got to work together.
Seriously. So, what advice would you give parents as they're going through this? They've separated. They now, for some reason, hate each other. The kids are stuck in the middle. What do you tell parents?
You got to try to put some of that aside. Yeah. You got to keep your child at the center of things. The child should have the opportunity to have a full relationship with both parents and both sides of the family. Yeah. And if there are genuine issues, genuine safety issues, something bad is going on where the child's going to be in danger, then we can craft things to protect them but still have a little bit of a relationship. If somebody tries to drop the curtain and cut off somebody entirely, you know what? The kids are going to find them anyways. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be some kind of contact, and it's gonna boomerang on you.
It'll build resentment.
It'll build resentment. It's going to catch up with you later. Yeah. You got to stay ahead of it.
Best advice would be cut a deal between the two of you, and don't force the judge to. Can you get into that just a little bit? Because there you're setting your own terms.
Well, you're setting your own terms. You know what your family finds important. Yeah. There are a lot of families that celebrate holidays differently. One side of the family has a big Christmas Eve tradition. Mm-hmm. The other side doesn't. Respect that. If you leave it to the judge, they're going to say, you're going to alternate every year. If we got to start with respect. Yeah. It starts at the bench, treating the parties and the attorneys with respect, and anybody else that comes along. A lot of times you do have that helper, that friend, that grandparent that comes along. Treat them all with respect, and then expect. We've got to build where the parties can start treating each other with respect. We've got to rebuild that.
Father's rights, has it changed today? There was a time that it seemed that the father just didn't get a fair shot in court.
Right now, they got to start even. Mm-hmm. The mother and the father. We also have cases today where it's two fathers, two mothers, a grandparent and a parent that have been acting as parents. Whoever those prime people are, especially father and mother, they got to start even, and then we sort of work away from that as to why it shouldn't be even. Yeah. The child should have the full opportunity to have that equal relationship with both sides, and it's really important in the courts. There's a lot of case law on this. Who's going to really support having a positive relationship with the other parent? If you got a parent that's like, I'm going to take care of everything, I can do it all myself, and in the meantime, I'm going to tell you all these bad things about the other side, right. You're going to have a problem. Yeah. It's the parent that's really willing to say, the other parent's great. Yeah. You need to spend time. That's going to go a long way for your child, and it's going to go a long way in court.
All right, Election Day is just around the corner. Jessica Reynolds-Amuso, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And good luck out there.
Thank you.
Oneida County Family Court. Is this out of, would this be Rome Family Court or Utica or both? How does it work?
We've got 4 family court judges in Oneida County, 2 sit in Utica, 2 sit in Rome. I'm running against Jim Griffith. He sits in Rome. I think it's up to the administrative judge who's out of Syracuse about who sits where and handles which cases, but Jim's up in Rome.
It's busy. It's a busy court.
It is a busy court. It's very busy, very complicated.
All right, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Good luck.